aussi nekk pathologie la wax nañ ci def. Je t'ai confié mon rejeton, tu ne l'as pas guidé. Hein?
Non, c'est bon. Non, voilà, benen bi la.
Bon. Est-ce que ça va? Et je vais donner la parole à Aline Faye, qui va présenter l'exposant et le thème. Aline.
Merci. C'est un plaisir que nous vous accueillons ici. Je pense que ce qu'on est en train de faire, vraiment, nous l'inscrivons dans la dynamique des recommandations du CST 2016, qui avait particulièrement demandé à ce que vraiment des animations scientifiques puissent se faire dans les centres pour mieux faire connaître les gens et puis vraiment pour travailler ensemble. Malheureusement, bon voilà, je voudrais surtout remercier des personnes quand même, les jeunes qui sont venus de Kolda, qui ont traversé la nuit, qui sont arrivés à 2 h du matin, qui témoignent vraiment de l'engagement de leur chef de centre. Mais vraiment, on vous remercie d'être là. On remercie particulièrement aussi Grand Cheikh, qui a, malgré qu'il soit un peu malade, a tenu quand même à être parmi nous. Mais sinon, vraiment, on remercie tout le monde. Nous remercions les PI, vraiment, qui ont aussi bien voulu se présenter à nous. Le professeur Mine est un spécialiste du fourrage. Il est professeur à l'université Kansas, à Manhattan, aux États-Unis. Et donc, Mine est aussi coordonnateur du projet SIL, qui a été financé dans le cadre de l'initiative Feed the Future, et donc qui a eu vraiment à nous faire l'amabilité de financer un projet au niveau du Sénégal, coordonné ici par le Dr Ousmane Sy, ici présent, mais avec 7 autres partenaires du Sénégal, un projet très important, vraiment sur lequel nous comptons beaucoup. Et donc vraiment, quand le professeur Mine a dit qu'il voulait venir ici au Sénégal pour voir un peu l'état d'avancement des activités, alors je lui ai personnellement demandé vraiment de nous parler un peu de sa spécialité. Parce que peut-être on est tous agronomes, soil scientists, forestiers, etc. Mais tout le monde n'est pas spécialiste du forage, du fourrage plutôt. Et comme on parle du mil à double usage, usage animal pour les grains et usage animal pour les hommes et usage fourrage pour les animaux, je pense quand même que c'est important qu'un spécialiste du fourrage puisse venir ici nous parler un peu de ce fourrage qui pourrait être effectivement une source vraiment importante de nutrition pour les animaux. Et donc vraiment, comme l'a dit le chef de centre, au nom des autorités de l'Isra, vraiment, le Dr Mbaye Diop, le DS, le directeur général, le Dr Ndiagayus, et tout le monde, vraiment, nous vous remercions d'être parmi nous. Et donc, monsieur Dr Mine, le professeur Mine, va nous parler de good guideline for making good quality silage. Il va parler en anglais, hein? Mais bon, voilà, je pense que tous ici, quand même, on comprend plus ou moins l'anglais. S'il y a des difficultés particulières, on pourrait effectivement... okay. Alors, mais en somme, il voudrait donc nous parler de conditions, de situations qui permettent vraiment d'avoir une bonne qualité de technique d'ensilage. Et donc vraiment, je pense que quand tu parles de Bambey, ou en sortant, vous voyez les meules de tiges de mil qui sont juste stockées comme ça, je pense que des techniques d'ensilage qui améliorent la qualité, par exemple, c'est vraiment important. Et donc, so Dr. Min, thank you for coming and thank you for your presentation. He was expecting people, we had people from extreme south of the country, Kolda, you know. They spend the night in the car because they arrive at 2 p.m. There was nobody to host them, so they spend the night in their car. And we have also Dr. Sheikh coming from Dakar, and the PI of the projects, and the student, and the researcher from the institute. So thank you so much for giving this talk. We hope that from this, really, it will be very, very interesting. What is interesting is that we had a recommendation from our CST, what we call the Scientific Advisory Committee, these years, and they specifically ask us to frequently make this kind of talk to make people to know each other and to try to work together. So thank you for giving this talk. You have the floor. The floor. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. So, do I look Senegalese? Yeah. Sure. My best friend, Dr. Ali Faye, bought this for me last time. Senegalese. Thanks so much again. Thanks for coming. As you know, this project was funded the U.S. government Future, and then through USAID, United States Aid for International Development. And my boss at Kansas State University, Dr. Bharat Prasad, he got huge money, $50 million, the Sustainable Intensification Project for 6 countries. Senegal, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and 2 countries in Asia. One is in Bangladesh, and then second one is Cambodia. So last year, I went to Niger to attend the Sorghum Millet Innovation Lab. At that time, I met Dr. Usman Sy. So I heard that this opportunity will come up, so I asked Dr. Sy to arrange the meeting. So to be this is my 5th trip to Senegal, and I've been to Africa 7 times. 5 times Senegal, 1 time in Niger, and then 1 time in Ethiopia. So I'm really glad to come to Senegal. It's one of my favorite countries in the world.
Thank you very much.
I love Senegalese. Okay, so this morning I'm going to talk about how to make the high quality. Have you made your own silage in your farm, or have you helped farmers to make the silage at the farm level? So, as I understand it, very few. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about pretty much sometimes basic things and sometimes a little bit more in-depth scientific, findings as well. As Dr. Faye mentioned, that I'm a forage agronomist at Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, United States. Silage, some people also called in-soil forage, but in the U.S., most people call silage, okay? The silage is a process of storing or preserving the harvested forage, like corn, like maize, or sorghums, or millet. Even in the U.S., people make a lot of silage from alfalfa. That's the leguminous crops, right? Or fodder for the future use. So like in Senegal, you guys have 2 different seasons, dry season and rainy season. Rainy season you don't have to worry about, but during dry season, some livestock don't have enough feed, right? So you have to save something for the future, for the dry season. So like, it's similar to like a bank, savings account. You have to save some money into savings account to use that money for the emergency, right? So especially, in sub-Saharan countries, the weather is not quite suitable to grow crops, especially the forage crops. So you need to save some, forages for the future use. That's why the silage is one of them. In the U.S., there is also hay. That's a dried, forage. We call it hay. But the wet forage, we call it silage. But as I mentioned here, to make silage, the fermentation process is required, by bacteria, right? The bacteria is going to make some lactic acid, the organic acid, which is so important for the livestock performance. So one of the criteria whether your silage is good or bad, you can send your samples to the laboratory, and that they look at the lactic acid level, okay? So usually if the lactic acid between 4 to 5, then your silage is pretty good. I'm going to talk about that later. So fermentation process is necessary by bacteria, okay? Using sugars, right? Carbohydrate or glucose in plants to make lactic acid. Again, lactic acid is the most important organic acid in silage making. If your silage is too wet, then you're going to have a butyric acid, B-U-T-Y-R-I-C, butyric acid. That's not good organic acid. Lactic acid is the best acid, okay? So silage, as I said, to overcome scarcity of green powder during dry season, you have to make silage, right? And then silage is pretty much palatable by livestock and also digestible. Also, although the digestibility depends on the stage of maturity when it's harvested. If you harvest early stage, it's more digestible. But if you harvest a later stage, it has more fibers, then the digestibility will go down. So hopefully, using this dual-purpose millet stover, farmers can be able to make the good quality silage from millet stover. And then also it's very nutritious than hay. And when you make hay, it requires a lot of space to store the hay bale. But silage, basically, if you have small space, you can store your silage material. And one of the best thing or advantage of making silage is that right here, less weather dependent than hay making. To make hay, you have to have very good dry weather conditions. Because after you harvest and it rains, then the harvested material will be, spoiled or could be moldy. That's why the silage making is not really dependent on the weather conditions. You can harvest, but the thing is you have to control the moisture content of that material. Usually the optimum moisture content ranging from 60 to 70. That's the moisture content. Optimum moisture content is 60 to 75. Specifically, 65 is the optimum moisture content. But if someone asks you what's the optimum range of moisture content to make silage, then 60 to 70. But the specific number will be 65. That's the right number for moisture content. Also, it can store feed longer period than hay. If you have some rain on hay, it can be moldy, it doesn't last long. But for silage, you can store more than a year or 2 years easily, okay? So if you have small chopper, or even you can use just sickle or any chopper using hand, you can cut the fodder to make silage. So advantage, again, the decreased harvest losses, because silage has a lot less nutritive loss than hay, and then also it has a higher nutritive value, and then also it can increase the productivity. And disadvantage, it can have some increased storage loss, because if you have a little bit higher moisture content, then the storage loss can be huge. That's why you need to control the moisture content, as I said, between 60 to 70%. If you have a higher than 70%, like 80% of a moisture in your stovers, in maize or millet, then your silage is going to be really rotten or spoiled, okay? And then possibly some mold issues. And then one of the most disadvantages of making silage is that transportation, because it has high moisture content in the material. Even in the US, you cannot transport the harvested material for the long distance. You gotta be within your farm, very short distance, because it's so heavy. You cannot carry the heavy, the materials for the long distance. So to make silage, you have to have space not far from the field. Okay, gotta be close to making a silage place. And there are several ways of storing the in-style materials. You can make pit. Everyone knows what pit is. You dig out the soil, the soil, and then you put some plastics, and then on top of it you put the chopped material, and then pack it. Okay. So people use, especially in developing countries like Africa and Asia or Latin America, they use this technique. And then second thing is trench. This is more concrete, made, kind of build some concrete wall. And then the third one is a tower. I don't know whether you see the tower silo in the US, in Europe. They have this tower type. And then in recent years, people make silage using small bags. Have you seen the small bags of silage? I think in Asian countries, these are getting more and more popular. The small bags. It's usually, the color varies. Like sometimes people use a black color. When I went to New Zealand last month, they use kind of light blue color, and sometimes they use a pink color. So, but the pink color sometimes symbols to prevent or to support the breast cancer, the patient, the kind of fundraising, or to remember those breast cancer patients. So people use pink color on their farming materials. Okay, and then the plastic containers. So I'm not going to repeat some of this statement, but one of the most important things to make silage is that, as I said, control the moisture content. And then once you harvested the forage material, like stover from millet or sorghum or maize, you have to remove the oxygen as much as you can. Because if there is enough oxygen, what that means, the bacteria is going to eat and then make it rotten. So you need to remove oxygen as quickly as possible. Otherwise your silage is going to be really poor. Okay, so removing the oxygen is very important. And then again, the silaging process is basically the fermentation of sugars in forages or stovers into lactic acid. And by doing this, the pH, the acidic level or acidity in silage will go down. So the pH gotta be lower than 4.5. When you measure your pH of a silage, the pH should be lower than 4.5. Okay? So it's pretty critical to lower the pH. If your pH is still high, that means that your fermentation is not good. Okay? So you need to check whether your silage pH is low enough. See the chopper using the wheel, but you have to use the hand, right? You have to use hand and then turn the wheel, and then there should be some chopper in the end. So the material comes in here, and then This is another. This picture from Ethiopia goes in, and then they chop the here. In the plastic container. Some countries make grass silage from grass, not from moving oxygen. It's so important. You gotta keep packing, otherwise by tramping, as much as you can. And then put the plastic like this, giving a lot of pressure on the top of this chopped material. So people keep rolling to remove the oxygen. Some farmers in India, they dig out the pit like this and then put the plastic and then dig out the ground and they put the enough plastic. And then, have you seen this type of small bag silage in Africa? Some maize or sorghum material, whatever, even leguminous crops, they chop it by hand, I'm sure, and then they put it to make anaerobic conditions. So it requires a lot of work to keep tramping to remove the oxygen. This is silage in a pit. Again, they lay silage material into the bag. First thing, she gotta use the wood or concrete materials to have a wall on both sides, right? And then that tractor, to press the materials easily, and then oxygen will be, removed. So, and then after that, they put the in Australia, even United States and Europe, they use this. There are 4 different stages. Okay, one is aerobic. There are tons of oxygen, like we breathe oxygen every day, right? So usually before you seal it, or even days following post-seal, is trying to put their silage material into the bag. And then everything is sealed. Then the second process is the anaerobic fermenting area, likes to be in anaerobic condition, no oxygen phase. And then the last process is a feed up. Usually it takes about 1 month. Sometimes people send your samples to the commercial lab. Then you can look at, oh yeah, my silage looks really good. To use 90 degree to minimize it. Otherwise, if you scrape like this, you scrape your material almost 90 degree. Okay, I'll show you how it's going to work. Okay, and this is the feeding silage again. So this guy is doing a pretty good job. As I said, he's scraping trench silo. This is a soil surface. This is wood. Sometimes people use a wood material or concrete, but the bottom is definitely plastic. And I'm sure on top of it, there are tires, used tires, to give some upright silo when you go up, all the way here. And then, you can smell it as well. This is spoiled corn silage. This is what I'm talking about. As soon as you see this spoiled corn silage, they're going to be sick. Okay, sometimes they can die. Okay, so you need, before you feed, you need to remove the oxygen as soon as possible when you make silage from the beginning. Okay, and then rapid filling 7 to 4.2, and leguminous silage a little bit higher, 4.7 to 5, and the pH. If your pH is lower, that's better, okay? And then lactic acid is 4 to 7. Bale is making as well. In the bag, and then throw the chopped material into the truck, like this, and then they transfer. The slope is pretty high, so you gotta make sure that don't make too steep slope. Otherwise, the tractor will, and then there are still tons of air inside, and then that will help. And then cover the bunker using tires or plastics, and otherwise you're going to lose a lot of dry nut content and also forage quality. And then keep the face clean when you feed out. Again, when you scrape your inside material, you got to use almost 90 degree rather than this thing, okay, to minimize the surface area.
We take break.
So we will just take
Oh yeah, we can take a break.
Et maintenant, une petite collation. Et rapidement, pour 5 minutes.
De faire la pratique avec nous.
Okay, doctor. Let's say cerebral insulation. So she's asking one if now for a demonstration.
In terms of demonstration, if I come again, yeah, I'll be happy to show how to make.
Okay, maybe Dr. Fofana has.
Peut-être il peut venir, mais je pense que nous avons l'expertise pour le faire.
Oui, mais il serait bon
Qu'il soit là.
S'il peut le faire, qu'il soit là.
Ah.
Parce que
Donc, qui nous a un peu démontré cette pratique à Saint-Louis. Donc, c'est effectif. Nous avons assisté à cela. C'est réussi.
In the legumes, when doing the things like
If you compare the external temperature we have in Senegal and the one in the US, do you think that this temperature will have an impact on
No.
the silage will be made?
No. The answer is
Je voudrais savoir si est-ce que les techniques utilisées pour l'ensilage sont les mêmes pour le processus de l'ensilage, sont les mêmes pour le compostage.
Par exemple, de l'herbe fraîche, qu'on met en place, qu'on applique deux méthodes de conservation différentes. L'un pour faire de l'ensilage et l'autre pour chercher du foin. Maintenant, quelle est la méthode en fait qui nous permet de conserver la valeur nutritive, qui nous permet de garder...
ok, j'ai pas entendu parler de ça dans le...
Parce qu'il a juste dit des inoculums quoi.
Voilà,
Ok.
parce qu'au Sénégal, on a la CSS. On a tout conserve. Salt, yes.
For conservation.
C'est-à-dire les méthodes qu'on enseigne ici, on enseigne le sel.
Les garçons,